Stars are whispering tales of old, planets spinning stories bold. Life is dancing through the night, countless worlds in the starlight. Galaxies full of mystery, infinite in their history. Beyond our dreams and our sights, life blooms in the cosmic lights, dancing on the edge of space. Take me away, feeling the universal grace. In the dark our hearts ignite, life across the endless night. Nebulas with colors bright, birth new wonders in the light. Comets trail their sparkling tears, life endures through the years. In the silence of the void, every heartbeat is enjoyed. From the depths and to the heights, life expands through cosmic night. Dancing on the edge of space, and off we go, feeling the universal grace. In the dark our hearts ignite, life across the endless night. Dancing on the edge of space, and off we go, feeling the universal grace. In the dark our hearts ignite, life across the endless
And welcome to everyone. Welcome. It's so nice to see you all back here again. It's been a long time. We have had just such monsoons out in the west. We have not been able to stream. And today they've broken. And if you look here, I'll show you right now the all sky. This is our sky tonight. Look at that Milky Way. Horizon to horizon. It's really beautiful. Over here on the left, these are the lights of Phoenix. Those aren't visible to your eye, but with the sensitive camera of the night vision camera here, which is color night vision, we can actually see that. So it's really much nicer. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Here's the southern Milky Way. That's the Sagittarius Milky Way. And we're over here looking in Scorpius right here. We're actually looking at a little area here. I'm trying to find the exact spot. Okay, we have Antares. Let me bring up the constellations for you. Okay, so it's down here. It's sort of below the level of the view of the camera, but we're looking at actually an area that's down just below the screen here, which I should show you. Well, it's right here. This is the area that's right near just north of Scorpius. And if we look at this, it's this cloudy area right here. And if you notice, Scorpius is leaning way over on its side right now. And it's actually kind of close to the horizon. We should get rid of that and bring up just a horizon line so you can see where that is. We're literally taking a photograph just about 17 degrees above the horizon. And it's not coming out too bad considering. So anyway, this is that area. It shows you the copious amounts of dust and gas in this region of this location in Scorpius. And it's a lot of dust, a lot of remnants of supernovae and original dust that was formed in the outer atmospheres of large stars, red supergiants. And so that dust is the dark stuff. And this red is the soft, dull glow of the hydrogen atoms that are in the region of space. And their electrons are getting bounced off with ultraviolet light from stars in the area, like these guys. And then when the electrons recombine, they actually give off a red light when they recombine with the atom. That's just that's ionization and recombination is what it's really called. But the bottom line is, it's what is responsible for these beautiful colors. Then this beautiful blue, that's actually dust. And this arc, in fact, this is dust that is scattering just the blue light of the stars in the area, probably this one right here. Okay, and so this is really, really neat. This is blue for the same reason our sky is blue. I say this all the time. And so the molecules in our air scatter just the blue light from our sun, making the sun look yellow. In fact, the sun is white. If you went into space and looked at the sun, you'd say, that's not our star, it's white. How come it's not yellow like we see in all the books? Because under the atmosphere, a lot of that blue light is scattered to make the whole blue sky. And what's left behind is red, orange, yellow, green, and that's it. So red, orange, and yellow dominate, and so we get kind of a yellowish looking sun. Kind of neat, huh? Some of you knew that. I want to say hi to Carl Becker, who was first. Kathy Messick. Hi, Kathy. I want to know how your Celestron's doing. Jessica is with us. Sally Forth is with us. Hello there. The Goblin is with us. And let's see, Tiffany Echo. I asked Tiffany when she and Mike were going to come back on the stream, because we're missing them. Sam S is with us. It's a Friday night with the universe. Rascally Rabbit's with us. Hi, man. Rascally Rabbit says, I got ionized last weekend. It was also a light show. I'm afraid to ask what you did. Anyway, good to see you guys. Thanks for coming. And we'll have more people show up in a little while for sure. But you know what we're going to do right now is we're going to get rid of this. This is actually up there already. I think I saved this already. Yeah, I did. Okay. And so I'll clear it, and we're going to move on to something else right in the region, but something that's a little higher in the sky. Alright, and I think to do that, we're going to do this. We're going to... Alright, this is what it looks like normally with our low light mode. Okay, let's go to our planetarium. Now, you can see Sagittarius right here. This is Sagittarius. And it's really Sagittarius, the centaur, or the arrow. But you can also see within the constellation of Sagittarius, which consists of these stars, you can see an asterism that is a pattern within a constellation, like the Big Dipper is a pattern within Ursa Major. And this asterism here is what looks like a teapot. See that? That teapot. Here's the spout, here's the top, here's the handle. Okay, and think of it as pouring, some hot liquid, and the steam is the Milky Way rising up. That's kind of what people call it. Kevin O'Neill, how you doing? Nice to see you. Oh, we have a Starlink satellite that just went blazing through there. I think I found the problem is caused by not using the main microphone. It seems Mark's voice is being picked up. I'm not sure what you meant there. Okay, so Kevin must have had a problem with his sound, I guess. And I think mine is just fine. Ooh, is it not right? Am I sounding tinny at all? Just let me know. I will just check my properties right away anyway. I can fix it. Oh, look at that. Okay, I think that's going to be better. Okay, I have a feeling that my mic I was not using the correct mic. So now I believe I am. So now you should be able to hear me just fine. Kevin, thank you for that. It was sort of cryptic. I didn't know quite what you meant, but now I think I understand now. Yes, this is the real mic. This one is the one that works great. So now I'm on the right microphone. I apologize for that. I picked up the wrong one. Yeah, so you should hear me just fine right now. Okay, hey Toner, how you doing? All right, so let's go check out some things. Let's not waste any time. Let's go and look at a few of the really cool things over here. This is a small cluster associated with nebulosity. Let's go check it out. It's over in Sagittarius. Actually, not quite Sagittarius. It's actually the lower part of Scorpius. Alright, so there we are. Okay, so here's the cluster. And it's associated with nebulosity. That is a cloudiness. Let's check it out. First things first. Let's just do a straight 25-second shot of this and see what we get. Now let's see here. I'm gonna also take the music down just a little bit because it's a little bit loud. Okay, now I think what we can do is come in here. I'm gonna turn this up to just a tad, a little bit here. There we go. All right, now I'm in the yellow. Okay. All right, let's check this out. Let's do a 25-second photo of this particular location. And let's live stack it. You'll see the previous image probably when we come in to the live stack. Oh, no, good. It was cleared. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, that's too bright because this is also on. I was doubling the processing. Okay, so you can see subtle blue and subtle red in here. This is the blue reflection nebula, that polarization stuff. I'm sorry, not polarization, the scattering. And then this is subtle hydrogen clouds emitting light. You can see a thicker area here. It's all throughout this region of the sky, so it's hard to get away from it actually. We can do this and pull this down here. Give us just a little bit more latitude. See, there's a little nebulous detail in here. And while we're waiting for that, let's actually go up here. We're gonna do some heavy hitters tonight too. There's a few heavy hitters I want to look at in particular. This was just a momentary thing. We don't need to look at this for very long, but you can see the nebulous detail here. Now you see the nebulosity in this whole region here. I kind of wanted to show you how this region is full of this rich detail. I'm going to take down take that down just a little bit, and then we'll go here, take this, move it all the way up the curve. We move that black point up here to get as much detail as we can, and you can see all this. It's like looking at chunky tomatoes in here. This is all the hydrogen gas that's being showcased here. You can see it when I kind of isolate it a little better here. See that? Look at that. That's cool.
Let's see if it recognizes this cluster. It recognizes the Hipparchus star. And it recognizes the open cluster. Good. Okay, so we'll set that target name. We'll save the image with the annotations. Okay, and now that's our target. And good. So now what we can do is let it continue for a few minutes. Hello, Karen Belmont. How are you? Nice to see you. Okay. She says, finally, I figured out how to comment. Yeah, you just got to log into your YouTube account, which is your Gmail. Yeah, very cool. Okay, let's actually bring that over here. See, it's really neat when you look at the universe like this, because you're seeing this in a stellar cluster here. And this star cluster was made of very hot young stars, and it ended up being a cluster whose stars, being hot like that, were able to ionize some of the hydrogen gas around them as well. And so that's why we always will tend to see clusters associated with nebulosity. Nebula means cloud, okay? And you can see this cloud of dust and gas in here. The dust is all the dark stuff in here. It looks like a void in the stars. It's not. It's actually not at all. It's actually the nature of the universe is to show you lots and lots of dust. Now, the dust only exists when we're looking toward our galactic plane. If we look far from the galactic plane, we don't really see a lot of that dust. Like here, you see this chunky dust in here. We don't necessarily see that. Okay, and that is to say, we don't see it when we're looking at areas outside the galactic plane, because the dust is really confined to the galactic plane. This is pretty cool. Hey, Fantasy, how you doing? We are past the monsoon, hopefully. Yeah, you would know. You're there. You know. Oh, by the way, our Benson telescope is up, but as you can see, it's cloudy out there. Benson at the lower right end of Arizona is a little bit cloudy, as you can see. So that's the last thing to go when it comes to getting rid of the monsoon. Okay, so we'll be back to that as soon as it clears up out there. All right, so the garage opener system was fixed, so we now have a working opener out there, which is great. That was something I wanted to do. I did talk to Daryl earlier and said if he wanted to join us, he could, but he wasn't feeling well tonight, so he begged off, and that's fine. Okay, so let's see now. Okay. And Tony Lowe says, following along in Space Engine tonight. That's funny. I actually, I use Space Engine. I teach people how to use it, and I teach people how to use, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter Quick Map as well. And Space Engine is just a phenomenal program. It's the universe in 3D, and it has several 100 million galaxies that it can show you. Once you leave our galaxy and look around, you see what looks like stars, kind of like this if you were seeing here. But every one of those dots is a galaxy, and you can zoom in on them and see detail in them. Now, Space Engine takes some liberties, and it actually provides you with just a notional view of what the galaxies might look like from that distance, but some of them are named galaxies and are accurate. This is beautiful. We're going to save this right here. 15. We'll save it just like we see it. Okay, that's good. All right, now let's pile on out of here. come back to our low light mode, and let's go and check out another object that's just a little farther north of this. Alright, so we're down here. Okay, and what I'd like to do is to go up north here. Now, we always stop here because this is actually a beautiful place to stop because it showcases what's going on in the universe. And it's a quintessential stellar nursery, and as such, it's a beautiful location. Here it comes now. This is, as you know, called the Lagoon Nebula. It's really something. I'm going to do a focus run while we're here. I did one earlier, but I'm going to do another one. All right, and I'm going to just do that so we can get a perfectly good focus. All right. Each yellow square represents a sample star, and it's going to sample the star's image and make it as small as it can be and build a curve down there on the bottom, and that curve is going to have a parabolic shape, and at the bottom of the parabolic shape is the smallest stellar image, and that is the location that will be derived mathematically for the best location for a focused image. All right, and that's what we're going to do now. All right. So Astrolin is here. That's Kyle. I'm going to give Kyle some kudos here. You know, when Kyle first started in his astronomy path, he was saying things that were kind of, you know, not correct and stuff like that. And as he progressed, he ended up impressing me a lot more. And I just want everyone to understand, Astrolin has been discovering planets around other stars. Okay, he's the real deal, and he's a rank amateur. He's not a professional astronomer, but he learned how to make a contribution, even though he doesn't have a degree in astronomy. So I want to publicly give him kudos for doing that, because I'm really, really proud of his progress. So well done, Kyle Lynch. Okay, there's my parabola, and there's our point of best focus. You'll notice it's not on one of the focus spots. It's a mathematically derived location. And now that we know we have it, I can just tell it to go to the best focal point. And Susie Karasik is with us. Hello, Susie. How are you? Yeah, Kyle's done a nice job. Thanks to him, you know, we've got time on the Las Cumbres observatories. We haven't been able to use it yet, but I'm working toward it. I have my hands full with a potential third observatory now. Shh, don't tell anyone I told you that. Okay, so now we've got our focus. Alright, so this is now focused. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it just a little bit lower. Okay. Alright. Yeah, Toner, it is inspiring. He's really doing some good work. Very proud of him, like I said. He was just a kid who didn't really know a lot of astronomy, and he just put his mind to learning how to reduce data coming from telescopes that are doing photometric measurements of light that's dimming in front of stars as small planets pass in front of them. Planets that you will never hope to see. You know, even the James Webb can't see most of these planets. Anyway, that was that. I wanted to just make that announcement. Okay, and now let's start doing this. Let's come in, and this is going to be, we are guiding, as you can see over here. We got our numbers up there, so we're guiding. I'm going to give us a 30-second shot here, and we're off and running. And so now we're going to come out, and we're going to get this up and running. Let me just do that. I have this, the speed of the flow here of data is set to be fast rather than highest quality. Okay, so sometimes you'll see little bands, but I'll get rid of them. They don't show up in the final pictures at all. Okay, there's our previous picture, and here comes our Lagoon Nebula. Well, look at the difference between this, okay, and this. Look at that. Wow. Now, obviously, that needs a little adjustment. All right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to first do this. There we go. Boom. Look at that. So, the Lagoon Nebula is a most amazing stellar nursery. Think of it as a region in the universe, a region in space where a hot star is located, which is actually right there. Okay. In fact, I could show you where that is. It's a star right here. Kind of hard to see it. Yeah, okay, we got a little blur here. I'm gonna clear this. Sorry. The next frame will come in now. We must have had some little wind. Yeah, that's also a little blurry. We'll try again. We're getting some wind out there. But anyway, there's an hourglass feature in the middle of this nebula, and that hourglass feature is an area where there's an O-type star, one of the hottest stars in the universe, besides Wolf-Rayet stars, and it's actually okay, that's better. It's right here, and that star is actually lighting up the whole nebula, so it's lighting up all this. And then the other stars, like this cluster, came along a little bit later. So this is a region in space where there's a lot of hydrogen gas, a lot of dust, which you can see here, and a lot of other elements bound up with ices inside the dark dust. And as the stars formed, when this hot one formed, it began pushing out with its stellar winds, very, very powerful stellar winds. And it's pushing dust along with the stellar winds. And it's actually making it extremely hot in this region. So if you were anywhere near here, there's actually no way you would actually survive. This would actually be deadly for all of us. You know, it would not be very healthy for us to be here. So you can see there's other stuff over here. There's little blue nebula there. That's a scattering nebula, reflection nebula. There's a reflection nebula in here. You can see this dark dust right here, and it has like a blue tinge to it. That's because it's a nebula, reflection nebula, that's scattering the blue light from this hot star. And most of the light coming off of this O star in here, which you see right there, most of the light coming off of this is coming off of this star in the ultraviolet. So it's actually coming off with light we cannot see, which is really fascinating. Okay. All right. So that's a little better color rendering. So now, if you look in here, you can see these dark areas of dust. Now in the Benson scope, when we zoom in, we literally have a field like this. So we can zoom in and get this all in high detail. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking that scope and we're going to start doing mosaics. We're going to do one piece, the next piece, the next piece, and then build them into one real high-end mosaic. And that's the kind of thing that you know, we could have blown up to be put up on a wall, like wallpaper. And it'll be very detailed. Now, the Vera Rubin telescope, which is the telescope that is in Chile, that telescope is actually has such a resolution that's in the trillions of pixels. So that's really an amazing telescope. Kyle says Benson can see more with an F2 system. Well, right now it's an F7 system. This is an f1.8 system that we're using here. Oh, and by the way, you can see the telescope, how it's mounted here. You see how it's sitting below the roof line here? Okay. We're going to, I think next month I'm going to go out there. We're finally going to do it. We're going to take it off those forks, and we're going to put it on the other mount like we have in Benson. Okay. And we're going to have it mounted up higher toward the ceiling so that when we look with the telescope, we'll be able to see kind of over the roof and down a little bit more. Now, in astronomy, we don't generally look toward the horizon at all. All right, but for outreach, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to add a little detail mask here, so it's going to pull out some more detail. Oh yeah, look at all the little details that just showed up. We got a meteor going through this. It's actually a moth, because this telescope's camera right now that we're using on it, that's an infrared camera, and the infrared is seen by the moths, and they go, hey, let's fly around that. It's really kind of funny. They're always flying around it. Yes, sir. Rascally says the music is sounding freaky. It's kind of cool. Yeah. No, it's okay, Kyle. He says, whoops, I thought F2. That's fine. All right, so we're going to go to 10 shots here, and then we're going to, let me just back out a little bit here. Show you the full frame. There's the full frame. Okay. We're going to go over to the left here, and we're going to put this over to the extreme right and show you what's going on over in this side of this nebula. Okay. So what I'll do first is bring up our identifier, our annotation system. There we go. And this is the Lagoon Nebula. Right, M8, the Lagoon Nebula right there. Okay. And we're going to set that as the target name. All right. Save this image with annotations, so you can actually get this image. Now go to skytourlive.org if you want any of these photos, because they're all yours. You can have them. Every image I take, you can download for free. And if you go to skytourlive.org, you can follow the links. You can scroll down. It'll say, take me to cool pictures. And you read how you get to our folder. And we are still working on our app. Okay. I'm going to have to talk to Isabella about that a little more. Because, she's been very, very busy with other work. And I'd love to get that app finished. Okay, so that's what we want, and I got that done, so now I can get out of here, save this, and then save it exactly as seen. Okay, so that'll be available for you to take down. Here's the image you actually get right here. Let me show it to you. Okay, this image right there, this image is going up on our server right now as we speak. It'll probably be up there in the next 10 seconds. And you can go up there, get it, and download this image and check it out. That area I was telling you about is in here. Okay, this inside this little square, inside this hourglass area. Alright, right in here. Okay, there's the O star right there. And as you can see, our stars are a little bit bouncy. We do have some. It's only 10 frames too. Right. Okay. But that's where the O star is. That's lighting up this entire central region. Okay, now let's check out the left side. All right. Since we're at 13, we'll go to 14. We only rejected one frame here. I can see that. A little higher than the 7.54 threshold. Okay, there's 14 frames. Save it. Save exactly. Here we go. Alright. Alright, so that said, now what we're going to do is we're going to go check out the other portion of this nebula, which is very cool. Alright, here we go. We're going to head to the east a little bit. There we go. No more. You'll see why. Now, as a kid, I would look at this often, and I was like, wow, look at the Lagoon Nebula. And I never once realized what was over here to the left of it. Because look, it doesn't look like much, but there's something there. See it? So we're going to go a little more. I had no idea that there was something here. C&D boy, how you doing? Hi, and Cherry, how are you? Alright. So there's where it is. And I'm going to just go like do this, move it up a little bit. Okay. And now we'll wait for the searching to become a guiding set of numbers. It's going to be guiding shortly. And when it does, we will start. And we're going to take, in this case, we're going to do a 35-second shot. Alright, 35 seconds. We'll even start it now because it doesn't matter. It's already guiding. And then we'll get into our stack. That's what we took before. Now remember what a stack is. We take one picture, take a second one, align it with the first, and lay it on top. We make an image sandwich. And as we do that, all the noise in between and the dim areas and the subtle change, color change images areas, that noise goes away. And we're already using a camera that has much lower noise anyway. Okay, here comes our first image, far left of Lagoon. And there it is. There's the Lagoon, part of it over here, and then we have this thing over here. This is in a nebula along with all this down here with this snaky substance, snaky thing right here. This is called the Chinese Dragon Nebula. It's really, really something else. And we can drag out a little more detail out of it. Like that. And then take our black level, make the black of space blacker. And it'll add contrast. And now you can see, look at that. Wow. Let's see. Yeah. Obviously it knows where we are. Okay, and that's what is going to be our target. Okay, and it has a name. It's called the Chinese Dragon Nebula. So I'm going to name it that. So if you want to go look for it, you'll get it. You'll know what I'm looking at, or you know what you're looking for, I should say. There we go. All right, and I'll save the image with annotations because that already looks good. Here it is. Beautiful nebula. Okay, so now, oh, and if you want the annotations, this is what those look like. You're going to get these, so you actually see exactly what you're looking at here, and it labels it for you. Then you can look it up and see what it looks like with other telescopes, other people's work. It's really neat. Let's pull that black level all the way up to near the peak, and it's going to give us the best contrast. Look at that. You'll see the hydrogen cloud that's emitting red light from those electrons bouncing back into the hydrogen atom there. And then you have this right here. This is a reflection nebula, again, caused by the scattering of the blue light of these stars by dust in the region. And as you can see, there's lots of dust here. This is all snaky dust. All this. In fact, it shows well right here. Look at that beautiful snaky line right there. Look at that. That's a very subtle feature. And I photographed this one time in Benson, and we need to give it more time because the telescope there runs at f7, not f1.8. Lower the number, the faster it would be photographically. So what takes 25 seconds here might take 45 or 50 seconds there. But that's okay. That's totally okay. This is amazing. Welcome back to the Milky Way, my friends. Welcome back. Tim F is with us. Hey, Tim. And we have HRVY. Is that Harvey 16? Hey, Harvey. How are you? Are you the Harvey I've been talking to in chat? In the messenger? Oh, I'm wearing my NASA shirt. Yes, it's backwards because the camera's reversed. Sorry about that. Hey, Prow. Otto. What's happening, guys? Oh, yes, the planetary that's right below it. Yes, I think it was Otto says the Planetary Nebula ESO 21-39, just below that area. ESO is European Southern Observatory. It's another set of observatories down in I forget where the ESO is. Is it Chile? Just mental block for a moment. Hey, okay, Harvey, great. I thought so. Glad you could join us, Harvey. Hey, remember, join us, okay? You can join us. See up here, it says, consider supporting us. Go to our Etsy store if you want. Or you can just join our channel for free. The more the merrier. Yeah, this is beautiful. Now here's something, guys, just to consider. You look at this and you think, wow. I have to tell you that when I look at a scene like this, I can't help but think that I'm looking at life elsewhere. I mean it. There's got to be life elsewhere. We all think that. Here, let me get rid of this, take that down. And now I want to take, let's take this telescope out of the way for a little while. Okay, and let's just look at this develop. We're still doing our integration here, it's called. We've got 10 stacked, and it's still going. But this goes up a little more, and you can see more detail up here. Here's parts of the star cloud here. This is all dark dust. Hydrogen gas being ionized here, reflection nebula, dark dust silhouetting the hydrogen gas behind it. Isn't it amazing? And somewhere in here might be life elsewhere. You know, might be. Ron Regier is with us. Ron is a good friend of mine. The king of Rimrock, Arizona. And Freezy Pops, what's going on? Freezy Pops says chicks dig astronomers. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, it's amazing how we go from being nerds to something else, right? It's crazy. You know. But I was a nerd. But I did it hopefully with style. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Yeah. It's incredible. Yeah. We'll let it develop a little bit more. Fantasy says, every one of these images, I say to myself, there is or was life somewhere in that picture. You're absolutely right. Isn't that incredible to think of that? I mean, remember my book, The Populated Universe. The subtext of the book is life in the universe may very well be the rule, not the exception. And I make a good case for it. You know, I really make a good case for it. You know? Alan Hale, you mean the skipper from Gilligan's Island? I think you mean the hail telescope guy, which is at Mount Palomar. To Mothman, what's up, brother? Ah, okay. Alan Hale, who was part of the Hale-Bopp comet. Okay. Thank you for that, Kyle. Kyle is Astro Lynn, by the way. A 3-hour tour. The weather started getting rough. The tiny ship was tossed. If not for the... I'm a nerd. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. The minnow would be lost. The ship sunk around on the shore of this uncharted desert isle with Gilligan, the skipper, too. The millionaire and his wife, the movie star, the professor and Marianne, here on Gilligan's Isle. Yeah, I'm that guy. You know, I was with a good friend of mine, Trey Hudson, out in Colorado. We were speaking at a conference out there in the high desert at 7,000 feet, which hopefully is where our next observatory is going to be, by the way. And on the way out there, I was driving because we had a rented car, and all of a sudden, he and I both started singing the theme song to Land of the Lost, and we got it exactly right. See, now I just put an earworm in you guys, into your heads now, beyond Gilligan's Island. And who knows the ending song to Gilligan's Island? And so this is the tale of our castaways. They're here for a long, long time. Remember that? No phone, no lights, no motor car, not a single luxury. Like Robinson Crusoe, it's primitive as can be. Yeah. C&D Boy says, the real SS Minnow is parked on our island here. Yeah. That's right. Very cool, guys. Alright, so we've got 17 stack. We're going to go to 20 on this. A little bit more because there's a little more detail I want to share and get in here. A little subtle detail. I will, however, come back here and do a save, in the process save here. Oh, yes, I did it right. Okay, and then save exactly as seen. Here we go. All right, now we'll wait for 2 more exposures. And then we're going to go from here. You'll notice the Milky Way is standing straight up. Then we're going to go to the Trifid Nebula. And then we're going to head up here to the small Sagittarius star cloud. We might look at the Omega and the Eagle, and then keep going up, up, up until we get up into Aquila and Cygnus. We're doing a Milky Way tour tonight because we haven't seen it for a while. Exactly. Hey, Walter Kokubinski, how are you? Okay. We are now at 20. I'm going to save it. So it's saved. We'll save it just like this. Alright. And so this photo will be up there for you to take down for free. Alright. It'll be up there in about 30 seconds. I'm kind of proud of that. I think that's... let me bring this up now. Bring that back. Okay. It took a couple years to figure out all the connections and everything to get this to work right. So I make it kind of look easy right now, but there's a lot. I'm doing a bunch of things all at once here. But it's all right. Okay. Very good. 21. We're gonna. Well, might as well wait for 22 since it's almost done. We're in 5 seconds from that. Look at me. I'm just I've gone black hole on you. Oh, that's better. All right. Here we go. Okay, done. Yeehaw. All right, and we'll go to that low light mode we use a lot. There it is. We'll come back in here. And we're here right now. Actually, we're here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go here right now. We're going to just skip up the Milky Way just a little bit. So just above the Lagoon Nebula and to the right is this guy coming in. Nope, that ain't it. That's wrong. That's totally wrong. Okay, guys, just a minute. I don't know why it did that. That's weird. Oh, hold on. I have to do that. That's pretty odd. It went to the wrong place. And let me get us back here. Okay. Let's try that again. Why did it do that? I'm going to try by going back to this first to make sure we didn't lose our coordinate systems. Actually, I don't need to worry about that. All I have to do is this. Actually, this guy. Plate solve and resync. It should be able to plate solve, and then it will resync to the location for what I'm trying to find. Okay, so it thinks it went to the wrong place. I gotcha. Well, let's do this. I'm going to do this one more time. Say he'd go to that, and let's see where it goes. Yeah, look at that. It's going the wrong place. Okay, so that's something weird going on right now. I don't know what that is. But we're going to see if we can work through the problem. This, by the way, is one of the reasons why I want to change to the other mount. Because this mount is giving us problems like this, which is not acceptable. And let me try this. Let's see if it can actually figure out where it is in the sky. And it can. 106,363. Okay. Let's see if it'll center it in the view. Okay. Alright. Alright, so it's centered it in the view, so that's good. So I am going to okay. That said, now I'm able to come in here and find that star one more time, sorry. 106363. Let's hit Hipparchus. All right. Yeah, it's kind of an eastern sky. That's true. Oh, 106363. Oops, my mistake. Let me do that again. All right. It's going to be relatively nearby. All right. And now I'm going to tell it that's where you are. Okay. I'll do one more thing just to be safe. I'm going to disconnect and reconnect. Make sure it goes to the same place. All right. Let's see if it'll go to the jellyfish cluster. And there it is. M30. Okay. Not sure why it did what it did before, but we'll give it another try. But while we're sitting here, might as well give us a little bit of a image of this. This globular cluster is pretty. Hold on. There we go. Now we'll move that up. And go to the west a little. Okay, fantasy, see you later. Okay, so now we're here. Let's get rid of this. All right, now what we'll do is we'll do just a 15-second shot here because that's all we're gonna need on this one. Yeah, we're gonna take that down. Okay, and this will be M30. We're gonna set the target name. All right, now let's color correct number 1, number 2, do a processing loop. Boom, there we go. That's pretty. M30 looks really nice. We'll drop this down. Get rid of some of the background brightness. There we go. And this is about where we want to be. Right about here. It'll get good in a second. Look at that. Nice. Measure 30. Now, globular clusters are interesting. You've seen when we look at some of the globular clusters, they are massive. They can have over 1 million stars in them. And the question is, when did they form? We look at the stars in these globular clusters. And first of all, where are the globular clusters? They're tied to our galaxy, but they're halo objects. They're all outside the galaxy, kind of orbiting the galaxy. Now, some of them plunge through the disk of the galaxy and come out the bottom and come back up through the disk of the galaxy and orbit that way, some of the closer ones. But some of them are even further away. So it's interesting how they formed, because we find that the stars in these these globular clusters are remarkably plain. They don't have any of what we call metals, meaning anything other than hydrogen or helium. That's crazy. So it means that they were formed at a time when the universe didn't have a whole lot of those elements, which means they were formed at a time when the universe was young, very young. And so many of these galaxies are billions of years old, older than 10 billion years old. That's a huge, I guess, time span. However, in the infant galaxies that were formed, they formed from possibly a supermassive black hole at their middle and attracted stars, which ended up, circling in like an accretion disk, and like a disc-shaped structure. And as they did that and went around the galaxy, then they evolved. They blew up. Some of them went supernova and left dark dust behind, and they dirtied up the galaxy with all kinds of debris, right? And so, meanwhile, the globular clusters are still orbiting, pristine and pure, having not been touched by any of those new elements that new stars are being made from. So that's pretty cool, and that's the kind of thing that we notice with these globular clusters. They're actually quite the ancient object. Let me just take one. Do one more thing here. Here we go. All right, so we did 11 shots here. That's 12. That's good. And we have M30 right there, so we'll save it. Now, it doesn't mean the stars here don't evolve. They certainly do. And the stars in this cluster are no different. Now, just as an example, whereas these nearby stars here might be a few light years away, a few thousand light years away, the jellyfish cluster's distance is 27,000 light years away. So that puts it literally almost the distance we are from the center of our galaxy. So they're pretty far away. And this one just happens to be kind of near the disk of our galaxy. Another one that's like that is Messier 22 in Sagittarius. Okay. And like this is like we're looking east here. Okay, so that's kind of above our galactic plane. Our galactic plane is right here, right? But if we want to see another one, this will be a good test to make sure that we're not misbehaving anymore. We can go to this one, all right? And we'll check that out in a moment. So we'll just save this one. All right, save it as we see it. Okay. Good. All right, so now let's go look at another one. Now you see that cluster. Let's go see another cluster. And let's try to remember the size of this original cluster we just saw. There it is. Okay, now let's go look at another one. Provided it's going to work right. All right, so here we go. Off you go. Go correctly. Okay, good. It's doing the right thing. We should see the telescope come right in on this right here. Here it is. And there it is. So now you're looking at a different cluster that's really a very strange cluster. This is now much bigger. It looks much bigger than the other one. But look at the stars. You can see them more clearly. It's really impressive. Okay, this is called Messier 22. And it is actually one of the more beautiful clusters in the sky. And we're going to take a look at it here against the backdrop of the Milky Way, because it's actually in the middle, almost in the middle of our central bulge of the Milky Way. It's really an incredible location, right, for a cluster. So here we're going to do a We'll do a 25-second exposure. Okay, we're doing our search over there. You'll see it go to numbers in a moment as we finally start to search. Okay, as far as we finally get our guiding. And so I'm just going to go because it'll come through. Now we'll come out of here. Here's our numbers. We're guiding. Now we're going to back out and we're going to go to our live stack. There's our cluster we just saw. Okay. And as a matter of fact, we were zoomed in. All right. Now we're going to see measure 22. Watch the difference. Ready? Here it comes. Look at that. Now measure 22 is much bigger. And there's a lot more stars around it too. And let's see if we can get this a little darker with a little more contrast right up that curve a little bit. Yeah, look at this. And we see dark lanes of dust and everything around here. Because right in the middle of the galaxy here. Now if I pull this down, we'll be able to resolve the center very much more easily. See that? And we can zoom in a little bit. So now you can actually see a different cluster altogether. Alright, and we're going to identify it right here. There it is. It's measure 22. NGC 6656, but it's also known by its other name, measure 22. Okay, we're going to set that target name as well. Very cool. All right. Okay, we're going to save that with annotations. And then we'll hop out of here. Because we know where we are now. You'll notice the color of the area is it's just full of stars. And you can see some orange, or not orange, red, some dark areas. These are definitely areas where there's a lot of dust and there's a lot of ionization going on. So there's star clouds in here, all star clouds, rich star clouds. Okay, and this is a very rich cluster too, a very rich cluster. Now that other cluster was 27,000 light years away. Okay, this one is only 9,700, so it's 9,786 light years away. All right, and it's literally right near the center of the galaxy. Because the center of the galaxy is the point right here that's called Bod's window. This is the area where we can kind of see toward the center of the galaxy. That's the closest we can get. All right. Now let me look at this for a minute. Let's do that. Okay, so we're good there. All right. I'm just gonna check that, and now I'm gonna come in here. And we got this Sagittarius star cluster there. And we're going to do one more alignment. Bring our sky tour. Okay, do this. There we are. So we refined our alignment a little bit. Look at that. So that's after just 8. Look at the detail in here. There's so many stars here. So many stars. And every time, as I've been pointing out, and as some of you have even pointed out tonight, every time I look at these, I can't help but think that we're looking at other life elsewhere. I'm thinking we certainly are, without a doubt. Definitely. Wow, that's cool. Okay, I'll do 10 of this because that's all we're going to need. We're almost there, and we should have 10 now. Winds have calmed out there. We're getting almost, actually, nearly every frame is coming in. In fact, every frame of this one came in. So we got 10 there. So that's good. So now we'll come back and move on to the next object. Are they giving you a lot for your money? Right? You get more for your money. Alright. So there's the Measure 22. Alright. And we did a couple objects there. Now we're going to try the Trifid Nebula one more time. And it shouldn't be a problem, but you know what? You never know. Yeah, look at that. It doesn't have the coordinates of it right anymore. That's weird. That is weird. Okay, well, it's amazing how that the internal coordinates for that particular object are screwed up, and I don't know why. But I can fix that. I can still get there. Let's go back here. And let's go here. Let's go back to the lagoon. We did go there before. Let's see if this is going to give us a problem now. Look at that. Still giving us a problem. Why is it doing that? Why does it think that it goes there? That's pretty odd, isn't it? I just don't get that. Alright. Not sure what the issue is with that. But I do know that sometimes it works. And what I should do is, I should do, not this. Well, yeah, maybe I can. Let's try that. Okay. It's trying to find a solution. That's weird. Look at that. Normally, it should have the solution without any problem. I agree, Prowl. There has to be life elsewhere. We're not the only place. Not by far. Let's see where we're looking here. Oh, I see that. Interesting how we seem to have lost the connection. Not lost the connection, but why did it go away? I don't know why that went away. All right. Would it know this guy? Well, first of all, let me try and let's try and get our positioning back again. It should know where we are without any problem. Okay. 96938. Okay. Okay. And that's down there. So let's bring it into the view. Get it. Let's actually center it in the view. Okay. And then let's refine the position. There we are. And then come here and assign that view. There we go. Okay. Okay. Not sure why it's doing that, but it's doing that every time. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us back to here. Let's see if it'll go there now. Wow. Okay. This is the freak show. This is a freak show when it starts doing this kind of stuff. That's a freak show. It's not the right thing. And I just can't tell you why it's doing it. I don't know why it's doing that. Alright, well, let's see. Yeah, we're troubleshooting together now, aren't we? Alright, let's do this. Okay, there's that right there. We'll come down here a little bit. Actually, go back up a little bit. Alright. Okay, now let's see. Why is it doing that? I don't know. Okay. And let's dribble ourselves east a little bit. Yeah, there's a lot of things just out of the view, that's for sure. Okay. Sam S says user error. I guess it's always the case, right? Except that you watch this doing it and it wasn't me. I didn't make user error. Let's center that into view. Okay. All right. 97, 515. Okay. Alrighty. That's pretty accurate right now, but I'm going to tell it to just go there anyway. Okay. Alright, so we're there, and now this is here. Alright, now that I know where we are, I'm going to just manually drive us over there and see how accurate it is. So to do that, we're going to go to the faster speed. We're going to head to the west. Okay, there's the west. Sagittarius star cloud. Certainly looks like that's where we are. And now we're going to go north a little bit. Oh, too far. Yeah, well, there's definitely a pretty area. Okay. All right. It's fun to go zipping through the Milky Way no matter what, isn't it? I'm going to do this now. I'll go west. We're going to get rid of this and go back to this. Here we go. Back to the west. Go down that line of right ascension. I went by that bright star right there. Okay. Trifid Nebula is getting pretty low too. I'd like you to see it before we leave for the evening. Okay, here we go. Alright, so now the Trifid Nebula will be coming in here if I do this. If our coordinates are accurate. There it is. Okay, so our coordinates were accurate. But for some reason the telescope didn't like it. And I don't understand that. This is Measure 20, the Trifid Nebula. It's a really interesting nebula because it's got a blue reflection nebula component up north, and it's got a hydrogen emission nebula down south. Really cool. And we'll check this out. Nice. We'll center it up first. Then our annotation will follow. Excellent. Whoa! Where's it going? Look at it go. Why is the telescope like bouncing way out there? I was just on this and it decided to just go away. Holy cow. I didn't even tell it to go to coordinates. It just did it. Wow. Well, certainly something is not going right. And that's not good. Telescope is actually... I wonder if we had a solar flare. Alright, well, let's try this again. I mean, it was literally there. And it just decided to go away. You saw it happen. Okay, well, now it's going to come back in. Look, a little planetary nebula. Alright, so let's do this again now. Here comes a Trifid Nebula. Alright, now I'm going to come back down here. Do this. Okay. Is my telescope possessed? does it not want to let us take pictures of the Trifid Nebula tonight? Why? What is the reasoning behind it? Alright. Well, there it is. It shouldn't move now. What I want to do is I want to actually do a 35-second photo because I want to show you some of the details around the outside of the nebula. So let's start this exposure. Alright, and we'll go back into our live stack. I'm going to keep watching the telescope, make sure it doesn't run away on us. Okay, there's our beautiful Measure 22 from before. That's up on the server already, so you can check it out there if you want. Hey Dan Clark, how you doing? Dan Clark's with us. We thank him for his service in the U.S. military. Must not have sacrificed to the demo gods. There we go. Look at that. That's beautiful. Okay, maybe we can finish this one out. Yeah, you know, you gotta love this one, right? This is just a beautiful object. So what I want to show you is what's around it. Okay, because you'll notice there's a lot of red all around it. This is a beautiful, beautiful region. What we'll do is I'm going to take that down, and once again I'm going to get rid of the telescope here. Well, I shouldn't get rid of it. Sorry, I gotta leave it up because I gotta see if it goes haywire, but I can do this. There we go. There's a beautiful cluster up here, the Trifid Nebula. This blue, what you have to understand is this entire region is full of dark dust. All this dark is dust. And this dark dust is, as we said, scattering the blue light of the stars that are in the region. This star in particular is scattered. The starlight's scattering off of the dust in this area. But it goes all around the nebula. In fact, the nebula is embedded within it. Okay, so that's really kind of cool. Hey, Marianne. Marianne's with us. Ta-da. Marianne, I just want to let you know the telescope is going haywire. It's actually, when I try to drive the telescope to this automatically, it zips off to some other location. It does it consistently. Not sure what's going on. I think there is a fault in the electrical system that drives the telescope. That's in the base of the telescope. So I think changing it over to the new mount is going to be of paramount importance. Alright, so how you doing, Marianne? Good to see you. Yeah, so this is coming out nice, actually. And let me do a little adjustment here. Show you a little more what's going on deep in the background. Yeah, look at that. Now you can see that blue going all around this now. See that? This entire area is a gigantic ball of blue, and there's a ball of red inside of it. I say ball, and I mean it. It's a three-dimensional physical thing. But what happens is there's some dust between us and the nebula. So you see the dust, and it blocks the bright nebula behind like this. See? My hands. So here's the dark dust, and here's the nebula behind it. And that dust is in front of the nebula, and that's what's blocking it. With the Benson scope, we can see about this size. It's really pretty, just that little area. And we can show the whole thing, but we can see that much more detail. Very nice. Okay, let's let's go here and let's darken the spatial background. Bring out the contrast with the colors. Look at that. Isn't it amazing that these colors exist out there like this? Look at that. Mm. That is just beautiful. Yeah. Get the quality back here. All right. Okay, so we have 8 images stacked. Look at the dark thing, the dark lanes coming in. There's a lot of dark complexity here. That's what I wanted to do. That's why I wanted to do 35 seconds. This area is really dark in here. So coupled with black dust that might be in the foreground, it looks like there's also a distinct area here that is different from the areas elsewhere that show us this reflection nebula. But you can definitely see the nature of the dust, because the dust isn't just black, it actually has a brownish tinge to it, and that's probably because it's carbon and silicates from previous supernovae and the outer atmospheres of large red supergiant stars. Red supergiants are very, very common in the universe. Every star will be a red giant at some point, red supergiant. Betelgeuse, member of the Lagoon Nebula, which is actually just south down here below. Okay, that O star in there was bright, hot, and blue, among the bluest stars there are. However, Betelgeuse used to be that color. Well, what color is Betelgeuse now? It's red. Why? Well, because Betelgeuse used to be an O star, and then that's when it was fusing hydrogen into helium. Well, it's long since past that, and large stars go through a particular evolution where they will become a supergiant a couple times, and they'll bloat when they run out of hydrogen. The core will collapse and get hotter, which will force the outer areas out more because of the outward radiation pressure of that new hot temperature. And then that core gets hot enough to start fusing helium and to carbon. And when that happens, the star has sort of a new life for a little while, and it's somewhat stable. Then after that happens, the star runs out of helium, and it goes through this collapse again and bloating again, and becomes a red supergiant again, and goes up on an evolutionary path we call the asymptotic giant branch. And it's during that period where the star might have these pulses that we see, and that's it'll be that way for a long time. It depends on the mass of the star, but thousands and thousands of years, and then the star will eventually go and explode in a supernova, and that's what Betelgeuse is destined to do, and that's why we're seeing it go through these variability, this thermal pulses where it gives off brighter light, less light, brighter light, less light, and that's actually a thermal pulse situation. And when we see the Betelgeuse do that, we know that it's approaching the end of its life. And so that said, we hopefully will be around when Betelgeuse goes supernova, because I'd like to see that, wouldn't you? Yes, you would. All right, let's see if we can pull out a little more detail now. Let's do this. Let's pull this back just a little. Okay, and let's pull this in. This is called a push when you bring these two close together. All right, so now you can see all the detail in there. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to just do one more thing here. I'm going to pull this a little closer. Okay. All right, so now it's very clear what's going on there. This is an extremely bright area where there's lots going on. We have hot stars that are hot enough to ionize hydrogen. Now, there's no life in this region, perhaps, because that's actually a very hot region. Okay, so we wouldn't expect there to be life there. Okay, we might expect there to be life in the dark dust and stuff out here. All right, and there may very well be. But when this star stops ionizing hydrogen and it evolves itself, at that point, we will see that the star may very well be cooler enough so that life could actually take a foothold within this nebular space. It's possible. As Muskie Muscat used to say in Deputy Dog, it's possible, it's possible. Alright, we're now going to save this right there. And save exactly as seen. Here we are. Let's color correct too, because the color is just a little off. That's better. Now look at that. That's a little bit better. That's more like it should be. Alright, so we'll save that again. I won't probably not be able to do this one because I already did it. Once that goes to 17 frames saved right there, then I'll be able to do it. Alright, now I can. I can save each unique image. Alright. There we go. So here's the image you get if you go up to our Sky Tour live stream. It's going to be this one right here. Ba-boom. Look at that. That's the one you get. It's free. And you get it from skytourlive.org. Oh, I hope you guys are enjoying this tonight. I'm afraid, I'm actually kind of afraid that I won't be able to have the telescope find anything else because it's not going to cooperate. I'm not even sure it's going to park itself properly when I shut it down. So I'm going to have to kind of do that manually too. But I will. Oh, look at that bug flying around. Anyway, we'll just keep taking a couple more shots. But if you guys have any questions, now's the time to ask because we're about to close up for the evening. So let me know. It is a Friday night. Most people are out there having a lot of fun. Michael Hedrick asked, what is the Styrian Foundation on the bottom right of the video feed? A Styrian Foundation is a foundation associated with Lowell Observatory and a lot of other prestigious science museums in Arizona and New Mexico. And they granted us money to buy a spectrograph system for Benson. And we're in the process of doing all that. Shh, it's a secret, don't tell anybody. But I'll give you an example. We'll be able to take a slice through this nebula and look at all the chemical elements that were being made there and be able to detect everything going on inside that nebula. We'll be able to look at the dust and figure out what the dust is actually made of. We'll be able to see the spectral lines of this dust. And then you actually see how we do this for real with astronomy. That's kind of important, you know. Nice thing is, once I get that, then Kyle, AstroLin, and I will be able to do more together with planet finding because we'll be able to use the spectra to look at some of the stars that are being eclipsed by planets and see if we can detect the differences in the spectra. It's possible. We're going to get a high-resolution spectrograph. This is all good. We're going to dock this now. I really want to go longer. I mean, I just don't... I fear it's not going to work. I really got to... I don't want to let it go out of whack and crazy. However, I could steer toward things and it was fine. So maybe one more. Maybe we'll do one more. All right, here's 21 objects. And what we're going to do is save these 21 frames here. Okay. And this is up on our server already, not to worry. Okay, so it's going there. And then we've got that. All right. Okay, so there it is. So now I want to take us somewhere else. And see, we're already like down near the horizon, but right up overhead now. Oh my, yeah. See, up overhead now, we've got some beautiful, beautiful stuff. And I want to, do I dare see if it'll go there? Do I dare? Oh boy. I don't know. It seems like it doesn't know how to find things properly. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to go up. And head to the northeast manually. And we'll see. There it is, down there. So we can go north. Okay. All right. All right. That's not what I wanted. Okay. The other north, the other east. Okay. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it this way. Whoops, sorry. Did that wrong. I didn't want to go there. Alright, I want to do this. Okay, now we're moving into the middle of the North America Nebula. Our spaceship is moving in that direction, and we're going to see where we are. I'm going to go north a little bit. Why did I say that? Why did I say south? Okay, here we go. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, we're close. I recognize some of those stars. Okay, so now we do this and do that. Yeah, exactly. Here's the Pelican. It's over there. That's the star that I was looking at. Okay, we're going to now head to the west a little bit. Do that. I'm going to do that. And move to the west. Okay. Okay, all right. This is good. All right. Let's pull that out. And we're looking here. There's going to be a beautiful nebula right there. I'm going to bring us up a little bit. Okay. You can see a sloping nebula right here with a very sharp red area in the back. Alright. And I'll leave that like that so you can see more detail down here. There's a lot going on in this image. Okay. Don't worry. You're going to get your astronomy, like it or not. Karen Belmont, what was the message you retracted? So fun star hunting. Yeah, I'm glad you like it, Mike. Okay. This is going to be a 30-second shot. Alright, here we go. And we're doing the Pelican Nebula. I know that's where we are. I see the Pelican right there. I recognize it after all these years. Alright, and then we'll go into our live stack. And once in our live stack, you will see our previous image that we took of the Trifid Nebula. There it is. That beautiful nebula. It is saved up on the server. And now we're going to see our first Pelican Nebula shot. Not much to look at, is it? Well, just wait until we move our curves where they belong. Boom. And there we go. Here's the pelican. There's the back of his head. There's the eye. Here's the beak. The open bottom of the beak. That's the pelican. That's why they call it the Pelican Nebula. Let's actually show you the whole thing. There it is. And I left this space over here because it's dark, but this is actually all dark dust, which you'll see as this refines. You'll see that very clearly. This is a beautiful example of a diffuse nebular cloud that actually has a lot of dust in it that hides the background nebula. Okay, that's kind of easy to see as we can make more exposures when we do this. When I do this push thing, you'll see how this is actually sitting in front of the nebula behind it. You can almost see how that's sitting in front of this nebula. You can see that by doing this over processing, it becomes pretty obvious. But that's the beautiful Pelican Nebula. North American Nebula is all part of this whole area. And we'll take that down just a little bit more so we can soften the noise just a little. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Well, say that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Oh, yeah. Oh, Karen, that's nice of you to say. Dan Clark, you're a funny guy, saying funny things. And Kevin, you're welcome. Sorry, I know you said that earlier. Michael Hedrick says, oh wow, I finally see it now. It reminds me of a Native American potlatch event. A lot of bird-type creatures in the event. Yeah, this looks just like, this does kind of look reminiscent of a Native American event. It does. My spirit animal in the world of Native American lore is a skunk. Skunk is my spirit animal. You know why? Skunk is very serious, seems very mild-mannered, but don't mess with skunk. Yeah, Marion is right. She says to my wonderful, I call you guys our Skytour family. We keep all of our scopes running because of your amazing support, and I thank you very much. I never say it enough, but I really am so grateful. Some of you donate to us like monthly. Some of you give us one-time donations. I mean, it all matters so greatly. we're paying for Starlink at all the locations, the 2 locations. I mean, all the electricity I use for my machines here to run this event that I do, I don't even charge that to the 501c3. That's coming out of my pocket. The computer itself that I have here, that came out of my pocket. At least I think it did. Some of the other ones we used, though, did not. The ones in the observatories, those came out of our Sky Tour. And I want to thank Phoenix MUFON for donating to us to get us the ability to buy our next micro mini computer that we're going to be using. They're about $300, and that was very nice of them to donate. So now we can get one of the 2 that we need, and that will be used in the new setup here in this telescope right here. It's very, very important that we have all the right equipment, because I'm 2,600 miles away from these telescopes. And at best, Marianne and Tara are the closest ones. Tara's about an hour and a half away. Marianne's 2.5 hours away from this telescope. So it's not like she can just get in the car and drive on down there for a few minutes to fix something. Not at all. So I do want to say a special thank you to those of you that support us. Look right here. In Benson, we're going to examine this area really closely, but let me zoom in on it to show you. We've got 11 frames. Look at this very subtle area in here. There's a lot going on in here. There's a little tiny thing. See that little line right there? That line right there is probably over a light year wide in thickness, and it's several light years long. That little tiny thing that you'd miss. Pretty crazy. Alright. So yeah, this is beautiful. This telescope at that fast photographic speed of f1.8 is really quite something. It allows us to see things that we just couldn't see before. And when I first started taking pictures with this telescope, I couldn't get enough. I couldn't do enough. I just couldn't. Now, the only reason I stop, like tonight, is from fatigue. That's it. You know? Dan says, happy to help when I next visit my friends in Sierra Vista. Yeah, well, the Benson scope is great. You're welcome to go at any time. Unlike this telescope's on privately protected land, and we have to get permission to go on to see our own telescope, and that's fine because it's very well policed, so to speak. And so that said, Benson is different. There's someone there at all times on the mountain. There's 9 other professional astronomers on the mountain with me. So I feel right at home among my fellow nerdy scientists. And I'm really happy to be able to spend time with them. You know, I've met several of them. They're all running remotely. So you go up there at night and the telescopes are all going, moving all over the sky. I'd actually like to do a video of watching the telescopes move all throughout the sky when they're running. It's pretty cool. James Dugan, what is up, mate? What's going on? So good to see you here, man. Yep. And I'm gonna just fix the quality here. There we go. And I'm just gonna do one thing here. I'm gonna this guy. I'm gonna make that a little more readable. So I'm going to do that. Here we go. Motion beta. All right, we have 17 here. Look at that, huh? What a beautiful object. Now you can see all the detail over here, guys. Look at that. And now, when I do that thing again, I'm going to overprocess now. Watch. Okay. Now, you can see how this stuff is overlaying a bright nebula behind it. You see that? It's overlaying this bright nebula that's behind it. So you have this big giant nebula behind it, and the dark lane is right in the middle. Now you can see that really, really clear. That's how that's working. That's how that works. We can actually pull that down a little. We'll leave the overprocessing on. And now you get that. So we, just by messing with our settings, I can actually kind of impart sort of a three-dimensional feel to our image. Let's make it pumped up a little more. What do you think of that? That's pretty cool. Wow. All right, there's 20 images. We'll save there. We'll save it exactly as seen, although I could just get rid of this and kick this up. Kick this up some more. Well, there's your Pelican Nebula, folks. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's let's do this. Let's take the Pelican Nebula, make that our target name. I did do that, didn't I? We'll save the annotations. Okay. Okay, save and save. Well, there you go, guys. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. We had a few little snafus, but it just points out our next mission is to put this telescope on the new mount and raise it higher up in the building so that we can look over the top of the building once it's active, just like in Benson. Remember, in Benson, okay, here you see the telescope sitting right here. Okay, actually, let me go over there for a minute. So here's the telescope. You can see it's sitting up on the high up on a pier up on a mountain. It's right near the ceiling, and it's right near the ceiling so that when it peers up, it can see. Let's see what the sky looks like now. Oh yeah. You know what that is? That's lightning captured by this camera. This is not my all sky. I'm using one of the other astronomers' all sky cams. Mine's gonna have more information, and I'll have more access to be able to update how much it exposes. So there's thunder down there right now. So obviously we want to avoid that. All right. So anyway, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put the telescope on a mount that brings it up higher like that. I currently have this looking down at the floor on purpose, but I can actually go change that real quick while we're still taking pictures over here of this. All right, and here's what I'll do. Okay, so let's raise it up so you can see that. All right, so now you can see this guy right here. let's well, it's hard to see, but in either way, you can see the entire barrel of the telescope here, and then the business end over here with the camera and our filter wheel. The mount, you can see part of it there. The pier is very tall. So what we're going to do in this observatory, this pier over here, okay, is actually not that tall. And so we're going to increase the height of the pier by a segment that'll be bolted to the one below it. And then, and then we will set the telescope on top of that on the new mount. So it's going to give us the ability to, you know, bring the telescope up near the roof. All right, and that way it's going to be much better. But that's the goal. We're going to do that hopefully in October. You know. So. Yeah. Monsoons are just being a pain in the butt over there. I'm going to go to 30 images and then we're going to save this for good. I will save this right now. And then save the final one. So I hope you guys had a good time tonight. All of you watching and all of you who chatting in the chat room. So good to see you all. This is a beautiful return to streaming. The telescope we're gonna do the overhaul. The changeover is gonna be a 2-day fix to get it changed over. So when I go out there next month, I will change it over. It'll still work. I mean, it still works. It's just that I think if we started it over, shut off power, turned it back on, it'd probably be fine. Because it's been fine. So that's the thing that I'm gonna hopefully try and make sure is working. So that's what I'll do. Not tonight. It's 1:22 in the morning right now. Okay, 30. I think 30 is good. All right, we'll save it. And this image is yours. It'll be up there in just a few seconds, about 30 seconds. Now you can see that three-dimensionality. Look at the detail in here. Now you get details in the black, which is very cool. You can see this bright here, dark here. It's undulating. It's like a cloudy mass of dust. Very, very cool. Well, there you go, guys. I hate to let it go, but I got to. I hope you guys had a good time tonight. I have reached my logical conclusion for tonight. And what I'll do actually is bring this up here again. And we're doing 1 second shots, so there we go. There you go. All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next time. Next time, if we use this telescope, which we probably will, I'll make sure that it's working fine and not going off with a mind of its own. It's done this before, by the way. It's done this before. So anyway, we'll talk to you later, and I hope you guys have a good night. And just remember, when you go out, keep looking up. Okay? Good night, everybody. See you later.
Stars so bright in the sky, on Arizona nights they fly. Nebulae in colors rare, galaxies beyond compare. Sky tour in the night so clear, brings the universe near. Real-time wonders to see, streaming live for you and me. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views. Every night feels brand new. In the dark, the night unfolds, stories of the cosmos told. the lens, a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Far away, up so high, across the stars beyond the skull. Through the lens, a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Lift your eye up so high, across the stars beyond the sky. Sky tour shows us the way, every night a new display. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views, every night feels brand new. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views, every night feels brand